Hey guys, so this is a chart of Nifty on a 15 minutes time frame, and as you can see, today market opened very flat and then went to the previous day high and made a M pattern and just came down, a double top pattern, a very clear rejection from the upside. But again, we cannot call this bearish because market overall markets are under a halt because there are a lot of holidays going on in US and there will not be a much inflow from FIIs. So the overall market is meant to be a bit of sideways till the New Year's. So on the downside, especially on Nifty, if I'm for an intraday levels, I might look at. I mean, there's a particular support over here, but this is a very feeble support. Might break in just one or two goes, so it's not very important. But however, main levels to watch out here are the closing from Friday's session over here at 23,500, and obviously the major support zone, which I'll show you by opening the weekly time frame. Right, so here's the weekly chart, and as you can see, here's a daily chart, and as you can see over here also, you can see that there are multiple inside candles on a weekly time frame, indicating that market are very sideways. Right, it's creating a lot of rosy candles as well, which basically happens when on a lower time frame stock basically goes like this. Right, so by looking at it from a bigger perspective gives us what will happen in the macro aspect of it. So clearly we will not be able to see any huge momentum until market hits the key levels on a major time frame like daily or weekly. So clearly this is the level to key levels to watch out for in the coming week or coming couple of weeks. So till then we might expect a very sideways momentum in Nifty. And next off we have Bank Nifty, and actually I want to first show you the weekly chart again to get a bigger picture of what is happening. Even in the banking sector, all the key events that happens in the finance sectors are already over, be it GST council, Fed meeting, inflation data, all of these are already out for the month, especially considering it's year end. So well, there are no key fundamental events that will drive the finance sector. So clearly we'll again notice a very sideways momentum in the banking sector as well. But technically speaking, so clearly we'll have to wait for Bank Nifty to come back to its support zone or a demand zone on a weekly time frame over here near 51,000 or 50,000. So these are the levels to watch out for. Obviously this is not going to happen in next couple of 2 to 3 days, obviously. So this is we have to take a bit of a long-term stance, like about at least 2 to 3 weeks, so we get a better picture to trade, or it will just be hitting stop losses like in today's market. Right, so this is a very very sideways market, very hard to enter into any sort of trades in this sort of conditions. So next off, the major news is again the FMCG sector. Right, so FMCG sector, as you can see on the chart over here, has fallen a lot since the 2024 mid April, because there we saw a huge drive in all the FMCG stocks. That's a sectoral distribution, right? It happens every year. But then now, because of the inflation data, we noticed in the last couple of since October, September, October, November data, all the inflation data were inflated because of the food factor in it, where the food price keeps going up. So that is clearly not a good thing for economy as a whole. So the GDP will clearly come down because of it. So even our ministry says that this is a temporary jiffy in the whole inflation data. It'll be sorted out in a couple of months, especially by February. And obviously the next key event that we have is the union budget, which obviously will come around February, mid-February. So till then, I mean, we can expect the market to maybe stabilize, but still, the main sector that is under fire is the FMCG. Steel sector was under fire because there was a lot of cheap steel coming in from China, but government is trying to sort that issue out. So clearly, right now at the moment, FMCG seems to be a weak sector for me personally, because there are a lot going on in form of inflation. So next off, you have Greaves Cotton, which actually went up 7%. We noticed that it's a common trend among stocks whenever they have multiple subsidiary companies. For example, Greaves Cotton has a company called GML, which basically produces some electric materials, and they have applied for their IPO. So basically, before they apply for IPO, they have to file something called as a red herring prospectus. So once this is filed and approved by SEBI, they'll be allowed to give their IPO. So now they have filed for it, and this is good news. Whenever a listed company, especially like the ones fundamentally strong companies like Greaves Cotton, come out with another IPO of their subsidiary company, it's a great news for the stock. So clearly we can see that effect happening, right? And you can even notice in the chart technically as well. Long before the news came in itself, there were a lot of volumes spike in the stock. So clearly it was trading at least 20 to 30 times more volume compared to the last couple of 3 to 4 months. So now, after a while, we're able to see that why exactly was Greaves Garden going up by such a huge volume. So next up, you have Interarch Building. It's a real estate company, and apparently they want to deliver. They will deliver 50% growth because they have backed up a lot of projects in North India. So it's a very interesting chart to look at as well. So it's not a sideways stock at all, even though Nifty has been sideways. This particular real estate sector stocks were all in a buzz. So clearly today we notice that even this particular real estate stock is going up by almost 9 to 10% with very high volumes, I must say, breaking out of that double top pattern as well. So both looks good both technically and fundamentally. Again, not an investment advice, guys. And next up we have Amber Enterprises. So basically this is a company that makes sort of electric items, like be it an AC or air cooler of that sort of thing. And they also have another subsidiary company that makes electric devices. So they want to basically get a demerger out of it, just like how Greaves Garden is doing it. Maybe they'll come out with its own IPO someday, I'm not sure. So that is, there are many reasons to demerging the company, and Amber Enterprise is doing the same thing. So this is clearly a great news for the stock, right? So we can see it has hit an all-time high, and it's trading at around 7,200, broke its previous resistance zone today with very high volumes. So clearly, again, looking both good technically and fundamentally. It's a great news for the stock. And next off, obviously the budget is coming in 2025, and obviously the ministry says that they might come out with a new taxation rule for customs. So currently, we already overtax a lot of things, like be it cars or pharmaceuticals. But again, I think they won't come up with a whole different law to tax more stuff. So clearly, it's under all speculation. There's no concrete proof until, once they submit a draft for union budget, then we'll get a better clarity. But then any company that gets a lot of its raw materials imported, they'll have to be a bit worried. So maybe, clearly no particular stock has been hit by this news yet, because we don't know if it is true or not. This is pure speculation. So next off, we have a lot of people investing in SIPs, right? We noticed FIIs have been selling for about 1.5 lakh crores in last in couple of months itself. That's a huge number. Just in the last couple of weeks, we have had maybe 14 to 15,000 crores worth of selling from FIIs. That's a huge data. That's a huge number of selling, and still the overall market is very steady. It's supporting, and that's supporting because there are a lot of DI investors. That means domestic institutional investors who come and back it up whenever FIIs sell it. So that is basically coming from all the people who are putting it into SIPs and mutual funds. So clearly we noticed that's one of the highest asset surge in 2024. If you compare it for the last 30-40 years, this is the highest it has ever been at.
If you're a trader following market calls and tips for day trading, use our tool RNT. Research and trade. All you have to do is link RNT to your trading account, then just sit and relax. Turn trading into business at app.gwcindia.live. Check out description for more details.
Disclaimer: investments in the securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.